is Ali. I'm the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Woodbridge Township School District. I'd like to welcome you to our Day of Expression and Allyship. So today's event is all making sure that no matter who you are, no matter your background, no matter your experiences, you know that you have a space where you belong. But not only is it important that you have a space where you belong, it's just as important that you make sure that others have a space where they belong. So the first part of that, expression, is all about you being able to express who you are. The second part of that is allyship, is making sure that others are comfortable expressing who they are. And that's how we become one community. So we are a district of how many schools? Nobody knows how many schools we have? Staff member, please save them. How many schools do we have? Oh, staff members don't even know. No, not 26. All right, so we have 24 schools in our district. We have 6 schools represented here today. We're always thinking about, how do we get from such a large district back to a small community? And one way that we do that is by having events where we bring everybody together under one theme to celebrate and to become one Woodbridge Township School District. So today we have some amazing events and activities that will be facilitated by some of our students here. Give them a round of applause. So this is a student-led event. We're supporting them. These are their ideas, their activities. These are things that they thought they were passionate about, and they wanted you to take part in. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to 2 amazing individuals who worked with us to create this event, to support this event. I'm going to turn it over to, we have the amazing Nicole and Krista.
Short and sweet. Just want to say thank you for having us here, and it has been such a pleasure to work with all of these students. So everybody here, all the things that you are experiencing today are from their minds and their brains and their hearts. So we just help to kind of like guide the ship, put it together. But I just want to give another round of applause for staff and students at Woodbridge. Think about who you are and how you connect to your peers and your community through your identity, and also how you can lend a hand and be an ally and be the best ally that you can be. So that's what we're going to do today. It's going to be fun, interactive. We have lots of games, activities, things for you to think about, things for you to feel, things for you to get up and move and do. There will be some music, there will be some lunch, there will be a lot of things. But we're going to go through the agenda next, or soon in a second, and we've got a few more remarks.
So, before we have some students come up and say a few words to you, again, this is their day here. This is them celebrating the things that are important to them. We have a few invited guests, some of our leaders in the district, who I really want to make sure that we recognize the time of their busy schedules to come in, just to say a few brief remarks given this important day that we have. So the first one I'd like to introduce, please put your hands together for our superintendent, Dr. Joseph Massimino.
Good morning. I'll be quick. First and foremost, I want to thank you. I want to thank the participants. I want to thank all the advisors, the teachers, the administrators. This doesn't happen by accident. I want to thank the people that set up the tables, that put all of the balloons out, right? The idea of not leaving someone out, right? This event didn't just get put together because we had 2 or 3 people. No, when they say it takes a village, it takes a village. So understand that there's a lot of people that contribute to this, and that is a microcosm of this event. Right? The idea of having 24 schools across 10 towns, that's big. We shrink that today. Right? Today we start to build bridges, we build partnerships, we start to collaborate. This is how we get stronger. When the unit gets stronger, the individual is stronger. So I just want to thank you because this is really important. If you look around, not everybody's here. Right? There are select representatives from our middle schools, our high schools. This isn't something everybody participates in. You are. That means today you get to lead. but to lead, you have to serve. So today you get to do that too. And because you're doing both, I want to thank you. Because that doesn't happen unless you show up. Like I tell people, sometimes the hardest part of the day is waking up and just getting there. Okay, now we're here. Now let's get started. So what I'm going to say to you is thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing some great things coming from the future leaders of tomorrow. Make sure at some point today you say thank you. Say thank you to the people that put this together. I'm thanking you for participating. Make sure you show appreciation and pay it forward for all the work they do to put this together. Have some fun today.
A few more remarks, but before we move on, I also want to give a shout out to our host here. Put your hands together for Mr. Osborne over there.
Mr. Ali, first of all, welcome to Woodbridge High School, and I want everyone to give Mr. Ali a big hand for coordinating this. Enjoy the day and have fun.
The next person I will call up, one of our amazing staff members representing Colonia Middle School, Miss Enriquez.
I am Marcela Enriquez. I'm a teacher at Colonia Middle School and chair of our DEI committee, representing our staff and students at Colonia Middle School. Just to say how happy we are to be part of all of this. Thank you to Woodbridge High School, Ms. Cruz, and all the staff members and students. We are especially grateful for the role models that our Woodbridge High School students have been for our middle school kids. We're very proud of our middle school students because they've also shown leadership. They've come out of their comfort zone, and they put themselves out there, and I believe there's been a lot of growth. Thank you to Mr. Ali, of course, and our own Ms. Davison, our Colonia Middle School Vice Principal, for all your support and guidance. And we hope that the rest of you here join us, and it's an impactful day for you as well. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mrs. Cruz. I'm the
Good
speech
morning,
therapist.
Ms. Cruz.
I'm the speech therapist here at Woodbridge High School. I'm also the equity chair and the advisor to many, many clubs. But it is my pleasure to be here this morning and sharing this meaningful experience with you all. The students have really, really put together a full day of events that is going to be meaningful and engaging. It's going to push you guys beyond your comfort zones, and really we're going to direct you more towards a lens of empathy and understanding and allyship, so we can get past the celebration and acceptance, but more so how can we be here for each other and support each other, even when we may not all look the same, sound the same. We're not a monolith, right? So how can we support each other and celebrate and uplift our differences beyond just the surface? So there may be moments of discomfort, but that is to be expected. Participate at your will. If you're not comfortable, we have cues and signals for that, but we really want to push you to be open and flexible to the experience, and let's have a great day.
All right, so now we have some students who are going to give us also a quick welcome. We have Lucas and Angelise. Come on.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angelise Benamato, and I'm a junior here at Woodbridge High School. So, a lot of you guys signed up, and some of you might know what this day entails or not know exactly what we're going to do today. But for us facilitators, today is a day that unifies our diverse community through communication, mindfulness, and connectivity. It's a day where we can all acknowledge each other's differences and the identities that come with it. So I hope you guys love what we have in store for you today. And up next, we have my friend Lucas.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lucas Mortagua, and I'm an 8th grade student at Colonia Middle School. First, I just wanted to say, being a part of this group along with having the chance to be here today is a great pleasure to me. Today, we come together to embrace our differences, honor our identity, and to create a safe space so every voice can be heard. All of us play a vital role in constructing a more understanding world. Together, we can build a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive community where we can always be proud of who we are. Thank you guys for coming, and I hope you enjoy the day of expression.
Thank you both. So in order for us to get into this, how we want to move today, we have a poem that a student here, Amira, has actually written for this day. So we're going to pass it over to Amira. I also just want to point your attention to the fact that the words of the poem and many of the things that you see all day are being projected on the Jumbotron. So if ever you need to look at something when you hear it too, it's right there for you to see. It'll be easier to see once we move to the tables. But for now, I'm going to pass it over to Amira for this poem called Dormancy.
All right, so my name is Amira. I'm a senior here at Woodbridge High School, and I basically wrote this poem about growth and about how I used to block my blessings, and I've learned that it's okay to accept new things and to also accept that change is okay and to be comfortable with change. I'm a flower. I am any flower you can think of. I'm a white lily because my heart is pure. I'm a bluebell because my love is constant, and I'm a poppy because I am hopeful. But I haven't always been this way. I was once a seed who was scared to sprout. I was so scared, but somehow I couldn't seem to shout. I couldn't shout for help. I couldn't find the courage to scream. I couldn't find comfort in the form I was in, but yet I still couldn't seem to allow myself to grow. I will stay in this form because it is safe. I will stay in your arms because it is my favorite place. You are my home, you are my serendipity. But soon I will grow. It's going to take some time because I promise I'm going to go slow. But time has passed and now I have grown. A flower on a shelf, sitting and waiting for the cycle to repeat itself. Poem.
Yes, thank you, Amira. Let's get some poetry snaps for Amira. Yes, yes, yes. So now we're going to move into the community agreements part of our day. And yep, here we go. Community agreements help us to figure out how we actually want to move together in this space. So we're going to ask you all to agree and not to agree if you don't. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hands if you need clarification on anything. I'm going to pass it over to AJ.
Good morning, everyone. How excited are we today? Okay, period. Okay. My name is AJ. I'm a senior at Woodbridge High School. Thank you all for volunteering to share and discuss topics that matter to you and your community. That is really important to do. Today, we have an amazing list of activities. Right now, we are setting the space for you. Next, we'll have community building activities. We'll have an amazing lunch. Then we'll have a circle time, our final activity, and closing words and remarks from a few of our facilitators. And now we'll be going into community agreements.
Hello everyone, my name is Jenna Ressa. I'm a senior here at Woodbridge High School, and we are going to be reading the community agreements, and this is my friend.
Hi, my name is Gatleen, and I'm a sophomore here at Woodbridge High School.
Thumbs up.
So we have a few agreements for today, and as we read each one, just give us a thumbs up to the side or down to see how you feel about the agreement we just stated. Sounds good?
Yes. Okay, so stay engaged. Share your story, state your opinion, ask a question, risk, and grow.
Share your truth by saying I statements and be aware of nonverbal communication and think about what you'd like to say before you say it.
Expect to experience discomfort and instead search for understanding, accept the truth of others, and challenge yourself to stay in the moment.
Understand that engaging in a conversation does not mean that you'll walk away feeling everything turned out the way you hoped.
Honor confidentiality by sharing ideas, but no names. Who said it and what is said is personal.
Be compassionate. Show others that you're engaged and care about their story and pain.
Don't interrupt the person speaking and give them your undivided attention. Let them finish sharing their thoughts and wait for your turn to speak.
Be mindful that not everyone in the room has the same viewpoint as you. Allow yourself to be open with your perspective and different perspectives as well.
Avoid foul or generally inappropriate language.
There's no right or wrong answer. Think freely.
Encourage your peers to speak, even if they feel uncomfortable with what others think or feel.
Conversations will take place in small groups, so you are comfortable, and then you will have the opportunity to share what you learned later.
Okay, so please keep all cell phones and AirPods away and limit your distractions to remain engaged.
Is there anything anyone would like to add? Everyone is a thumbs up with everything we've said. Yes? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you all. And thank you all for really listening. I saw a lot of people like, all right, do I agree with this one? Yes, I'm gonna give a thumbs up. Don't just arbitrarily agree with something if you don't really agree. So thank you very much. Now we're gonna, Angel and Sydney are going to help us think about something called the 7 core assumptions of restorative practice. And after each one, we're gonna ask that you take a deep breath together, right? So let them sink in, and here they go.
I'm Sydney. I'm a 7th grader at Colonia Middle.
I'm Angel. I'm an 8th grader at Colonia Middle.
And we're going to be reading the 4 agreements of courageous conversations. Stay engaged. Staying engaged means remaining morally, emotionally, intellectually, and socially involved in the dialogue.
Experience discomfort. Acknowledge that discomfort is inevitable, especially in dialogue about identity and race, and that participants make a commitment to bring the issues into the open. It is not talking about these issues that create divisiveness already exists in society. It is through dialogue, even when uncomfortable, that healing and change begin.
Speak your truth. This means being open about the thoughts and feelings and not just saying what you think others want to hear.
Expect and accept non-closure. This agreement asks participants to hang out in uncertainty and not rush to quick solutions, especially in relation to racial understanding, which requires ongoing dialogue.
Can we get a thumbs up, thumbs to the side, thumbs down as a sign of agreement to show that we are all on the same page?
And then back to Lucas for our 7 core assumptions.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to be reading the 7 core assumptions of restorative practice. And what I want you guys to do is after I read each one, I want you guys to take a deep breath so it kind of sinks in with you. Here we go. The true self in everyone is good, wise, and powerful. The world is profoundly interconnected. All human beings have a deep desire to be in a good relationship. All human beings have gifts and everyone is needed for what they bring. Everything we need to make positive change is already here. Human beings are holistic. We need practices to build habits of living from the core self. Can we get a thumbs up, side, or down as a sign of agreement to show that we are all on the same page? Awesome.
Okay, cool. So now we feel kind of grounded in our space. You know that the world is profoundly interconnected, that everybody wants to have a deep desire to be in a good relationship, that everything we need to make positive change is already here. Now we're going to think about what listening means, right? And what does it mean to listen? Today is going to be a day where we are talking a lot. You're all going to be talking to each other. You're going to be talking about sensitive things, maybe some personal things if you care to share, as vulnerable as you would like to. So there's ways that we talk, and there's also ways that we listen. And listening is really important, especially in times like this. So Tyler's going to help us think about how we listen.
Hi everyone, so I'm Tyler. I'm a junior at Woodbridge High School. So as you just heard, listening is going to be a very important part of what makes today as beneficial as possible for everyone. So something that needs to be in everyone's mind is how they can minimize their biases. So everyone has bias. I have bias, everyone here has bias. It's just how the brain works. But minimizing that will make this discussion as active and connected as possible. So there are two main types of biases. There are the unconscious biases or implicit biases. These are the subtle ones that you don't really even notice when you're acting upon them, but they really do affect your everyday life, actions, thoughts. But then there's the explicit ones, which are very clear and in your mind, and you know that you're doing something wrong. So can anyone here think of how biases could affect your ability to actively listen? Yes, that's a great way of putting it. I don't know if you all heard that, but what she said was, if you have a closed mindset, you might not be as open to hearing what others have to say. So for more on this, I'm going to hand it over to Naraya for more thought.
Hi, I'm Naraya. Good morning, I'm Naraya. I'm from CMS, and I'll be talking about tips for listening. So, when listening to listen, try to commit to thinking about the person sharing. Quiet your mind to hear what they are sharing. Give nonverbal support by using positive body language. Do not interpret, give advice, or share your personal story. Do not agree or disagree with what the speaker is saying, including making judgments. Try to be empathetic and try to put yourself in their shoes to understand them. Each person should be given an equal amount of time to share. Paraphrase, use your own words to repeat what you have heard. Ask for more information or ask questions to clarify. Ask questions that ask about emotions. How did that feel? Were you angry? Pause and admit to yourself your biases and do not attempt to move them to the side. Thank you for listening. I'm going to pass it over to Christopher Charles now.
Hello, I'm Chris Charles from Colonial Middle School, and we're going to do a little activity, turning and talking, and where you are on the bleachers, turn to the person next to you, and get into groups about 2, 3, or 4, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and you guys are going to conversate about it. First, think of someone who you feel listens to you, and how do they show that they're listening? What do they say, and what is their body language? I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes, and I'm going to clap when it's time to discuss. Now, does anyone want to answer what they talked about with their groups?
Would anybody like to share what they spoke about in their group?
Eye contact. Anyone else? Oh, sorry, the balloon was covering. Say it again. Zoning out. Anyone else? You right there? Oh, wait. Oh, Layla?
Oh, not interrupting.
Okay. Is that it? Oh. Alright, I like that. Now, think of someone who you feel does not listen to you. What are their actions, what do they say, and what is their body language? I'll give you 2 minutes to discuss, and I'll clap when it's time. All right, any answers? Okay, I like that. All right. And the black hoodie? What you said? Okay.
When they go on their phone.
Okay. All right. He's back.
When you have to repeat yourself like multiple times, and then when you're done saying what you said, and they just go off topic.
I like that. Last one. And one more. Yeah. All right, thank you. Today we want to focus on listening in ways that help others to feel like we're listening to them and that they are heard. Thank you guys very much.
Good morning. My name is Tanya Shaw, and I'm a student at CMS, and I'm in the 8th grade. Today I'm going to talk about the STOP technique. We also want to offer a tool for mindfulness and self-awareness. STOP is an acronym for S meaning stop before you respond, T meaning take a breath, O meaning observe what you're feeling, name it to tame it, P meaning proceed mindfully and with the knowledge of what you observed. You can do this when you feel like something is coming up for you, like if you feel an emotional sensation because of something someone said. Using this technique helps you check in with yourself and get clarity on how to manage your feelings in the moment. Which of these feels hardest for you? What do you do when you need to stop? I'm going to give you 1 second to think about those 2 questions. Next question I'm going to ask, I want you to do a thumbs up, side, or down to show that you agree. Can we all commit to challenging ourselves to be the most mindful listeners today possible? Thank you for listening.
Good job. Thanks, Tanya. And I want to just practice that one more time to give y'all a minute to like grab the protocol. So it's called, as Tanya said, the STOP protocol. And the S stands for stop, meaning like when you're in a conversation and you hear something that is like, ooh, you know how your shoulders go up or your hands get tight and you get a little like, I don't know how I feel about that. Do you stop? The S stands for stop. The T is for take a breath. So in that moment when you feel yourself feeling away, take a breath. And when you're taking your breath, think about what it is you feel. And they say like you can name it to tame it. If you feel, I feel angry about what this person just said. I feel annoyed. I feel irritated. I feel anxious about what I'm gonna say next. I feel like I totally co-sign and agree with this person 100%, and I want to check in with them afterwards. So name your feeling. So S, stop, T, take a breath, O, observe what you are feeling and name it, and then P, proceed with the understanding of what that observation was. All right, I feel agitated. That means I need to go take a breath, or that means I need to go get a water. Or that means I need to go like step away for a second and come back. So that's something that you can use throughout the day and then beyond here to manage your emotions, to manage yourself, to be able to respond empathetically in the moment and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. So is everybody clear on how to use the stop? All right, good. Thank you.
Okay, before we get you moving and transition out of the bleachers, you've heard a little bit about what it means to actively listen and also ways that you can express yourself. If you can agree to these things, we have some of our students have bins with pins. They're gonna go around now and pass these pins out. If you can agree to do the things that you've heard as far as actively listening, as far as being willing to have courageous conversations, we're going to ask that you actually pin yourself with this pin as a symbol that you agree with the norms that we've created today. So students, please pass out the bins. You could just take one of the pins and pass the rest down. And if you agree with the things that you have heard today, please take a few moments to pin yourself or have a friend pin you.
This morning you should have received a table assignment with a number when you checked in this morning. When you hear your table number, please move quickly from the bleachers to your assigned table. Once everyone is seated, we will take table attendance to make sure everyone is in the right place. If you did not receive a table number this morning, please stay seated and we will get you a table.
How y'all doing? I'm Jamir. I'm a junior at Woodbridge High School.
Good job.
Our first activity today would be a chain link. You would link arms in your table with the people next to you, and if you don't want to link arms, you can fist bump or just stand next to the person. Now I'm going to pass it over to Bikram to demonstrate.
Hey guys, I'm Bikram, and so how this is gonna work is we're all gonna say our name, grade, pronouns, and what school we're from. So name, grade, your pronouns, and what school you're from. And then after that, you're gonna say 3 things about you. So we're gonna do an example right now. So I'll start off. My name is Bikramjit Singh. I'm from Woodbridge High School. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm in 12th grade. And 3 things about me is I like Drake, I run track, and I play soccer. So I'm gonna have my arm out like a chain, and she's gonna link to me. So now it's her turn.
Hi, my name is Arvi. I'm a 7th grader at CMS. My pronouns are she, her. 3 things that are true about me is that I'm a dancer. Oh, and I connected with Bikram because I run track. 3 things about me: I'm a dancer, I'm the oldest child, and I have piercings.
Then I'll link arms because I also have piercings. And I'm Jamir. I'm from Woodbridge. My pronouns are he, him. I like shoes. I play football. I'm a 2-sport athlete, and I have a tattoo.
And I'm Lakey because I'm Nicole. I also like shoes. I also have tattoos. And I used to play a lot of sports when I was in high school, too. So get the picture. You're actually going to have to, oh.
I'm Linking, also love shoes, huge sneakerhead. Mr. Ali, worked in the district, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully one thing you got from this is you're linking if you share something in common with one of the 3 things that was said. So after you identify yourself, you're going to say 3 things about yourself, 3 things that are important to you, and then you will link with the person who you have something in common with. So we're both sneakerheads, so I linked with her. Anybody have a question on the directions, which are also posted on these screens?
You're also going to try to link around your table if you can, which means that at some point you're going to be maybe in a different seat that you're in, linked because you're linking with the person. So this is a standing activity. So you're going to have to stand up and get to the person, link with them, but try to do it in a way that goes around your table, if that makes sense. Organizing our bodies.
Our next activity will help us think about our own identities so that we can connect them to allyship. In our circle conversations later on in the day, identity is a set of characteristics that help people define themselves to themselves and others. Exploring our individual identities can provide a window into understanding our experiences and those of others, giving us a starting point in being good allies.
Okay. An individual's sense of self is defined by a set of physical, psychological, and behavioral characteristics that is not wholly shared with any other people.
A range of affiliations like ethnicities and social roles.
Okay, so on page 6 of your all's packet in all of y'all folders, if you guys can turn to page 6. There's a social identity wheel on it. So at your tables, independently, you guys are gonna complete the social identity wheel. As you guys are completing it, you're gonna consider your own identity. In the outer oval, you're gonna place an identity word or word for each category in the box below that it says. So on the packet, it tells you, like, for example, it says ethnicity, race, socioeconomic status, gender, sex, sexual orientation, nationality, first language, physical, emotional, developmental disability, age, and religious or spiritual affiliation. So basically, if you guys feel comfortable, you guys are going to fill in what you identify as based off of those words, and then in the center you're gonna answer those questions, and then afterwards, after everybody has completed theirs, you guys are going to share in your groups. Only if you feel comfortable sharing what you have wrote, like, you can share. If you don't feel comfortable, that is totally fine. You do not have to share what you wrote. But if you do, please, it will spark up conversation. You guys will learn new things about each other and even learn new things about yourself. So we're gonna give you guys some time to, we're gonna give you guys some time to complete it. But before you guys start, on each screen is an example that I have completed for you guys. So my ethnicity, I'm Haitian American. My socioeconomic status, I'm middle class. My gender, I'm a woman. My sex, I'm a female. My sexual orientation, I'm bisexual. My national origin is American. My first language is English. My physical, emotional, and developmental disabilities are anxiety and depression. I'm 17. My religious affiliation is Christian, and I'm Black. So as you guys are completing both these, this example will be up for you. If you guys have any questions, please ask the circle keepers that are at your table, and we're gonna give you some time to complete your identity wheels now.
So, I just want to know, like, how was that for folks? Anyone care to share, like, something like that you have permission to share that was exciting at your table, that you learned, or something that you share that you want to share with more folks?
Within my table, we express that it's okay not to know who exactly you are. It's okay to still be figuring out who you are. And it's okay to, let people know that, right? That, hey, I'm not sure if I identify as this or that. I don't put a label on it.
Thank you, absolutely. Especially at your all's age, we're at like this stage where we're learning new things and we're figuring it out ourselves. And so absolutely, it is okay to be figuring it out. You can share your name too if you don't mind.
I'm just gonna go off of like what Angelique said. So I think that us collectively as a table, we all learned that it's okay to not fully know yourself, but taking that into your future is like something that you really need to hold. I think that we had a lot of connections that we didn't think that we would have, and I think that that's kind of the goal of what we're going for right now. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else.
So I've sort of been running around at every other table, but one of the main topics that I've been asking and we've been discussing at each table I've been at is that we all, like some of us may wear our identities on our sleeves, but there's always an identity that's like under the tip of the iceberg. So like me, like you can see I'm a black woman, that's the identity I wear on my sleeve. But if you don't know me, you wouldn't know that I'm suffering from anxiety and depression, and you wouldn't know that I'm bisexual. So it's like, it's always important to sort of empathize with those you are around and sort of be sensitive, because you never know what somebody may be going through and how our identities truly affect our emotions and our overall personal well-being and our interaction with others.
So for my group, we talked about the social economic status, and we kind of all realized like we all fit into the same part of it, but it's also like the one thing that we all don't really think about. We also have like mom and dad there to help us, or whatever the case may be. And I feel like now that I'm a senior getting ready to graduate, now I'm starting to think about it a little bit more. But like everybody else though still doesn't, it's like in the back of their mind, nobody else really has to think about it. But like we all kind of fit into the same category.
Thanks for mentioning that stuff that like you don't really think about, because that's going to take us into our next activity too.
My name is Riley Volpe. I'm a senior at Woodbridge High School.
My name is Madison Marks. I'm an 8th grader at Colonia Middle School.
And me and Madison will be guiding you through some stretches. You ready?
So will everyone please stand up and spread out for us?
Okay, so the first little stretch we're gonna do, we're gonna put your arm like this, right? And we're gonna count to 5. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, now that we've done that, everyone put your hand above your head and grab with the other hand with your grab your elbow and pull.
Count to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch.
1, 2,
3, 4, 5.
Okay. And now you're gonna spread out your legs like this, and you're gonna go down to the right. You're just gonna go like this. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch to the other foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back up.
And now grab your leg and pull.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5. Switch legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And now you're just gonna roll out your wrist and your ankles like this. Just do it a couple times, just like that. And then to end it off, just like, just move your neck around. Just like that. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyler. Before we start our activity, can make sure everyone has 10 pieces of candy in their cup in front of them. Please do not eat it. Everyone good? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Good? Great. So our activity today is the Privilege Bank. I am here with...
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a sophomore here at Woodbridge.
Hi, I'm Helena. I am a 7th grader at CMS.
Okay, all right. So for this activity, each person has a plastic cup containing candies. We are going to read some prompts to you. If the prompt does apply to you, keep your candy in the cup. If it does not apply to you, take a piece of candy out of the cup. For example, if the prompt were to say, if you have glasses, Helena would take a piece of candy and keep it in her cup, and Emma would take one out because she does not wear glasses. Okay? This activity is to demonstrate privilege and how visible it can be for each person.
Is everybody clear with the directions? If you are right-handed, keep your candy in your cup. If not, take one out.
If English is your first language, keep all your candy in your cup. If it's not, take one out.
If one or both of your parents went to college or university, keep all your candy in your cup. If not, take one out.
If you have never been made fun of or bullied for something you could not change or was beyond your control, keep all your candy in your cup. If you have, take one out.
If you have a teacher that looks like you, keep your candy in your cup. If not, take one out.
If you have learned about your cultural background or ancestors in elementary school on multiple occasions and in different settings, keep all your candy in your cup.
If you come from a 2-parent household, keep your candy in your cup. If not, take one out.
If substance abuse has not had an impact in your household, keep all your candy in your cup.
If you feel comfortable calling the police when trouble occurs, please keep all your candy in your cup. If not, take one out.
If you can show affection for your romantic partner in public without fear of ridicule or violence, keep all your candy in your cup.
Once again, this activity is to visualize privilege in each individual and in group settings. And if with yourselves and with your group, you go through our debrief questions one more time for this activity.
So I want to hear, I'm very curious and excited to hear some of the things that you all have been talking about, whatever folks feel comfortable and have consent to share. Specifically around this connection, connecting it to allyship, but also anything else that came about your table that you want to share.
So a lot of us came to like the realization that there is a lot of differences and similarities both. Like I feel like we could split just this table and be like, okay, this side of the table is similar in this way, but they're different in that way. But then there's other, like some of the other questions that we were able to, that you could change what the similarities and differences were. So some connected with others while others didn't. And because of that, it allows us to be able to like relate to each other a lot. one thing we had talked about was like the two-parent household question, and there's some of us that do have a two-parent household while others don't. And due to that, like we were able to relate to what it feels like to have both a two and a single-parent household.
In talking about this activity, the 10th one is showing affection for your partner in public. Me reading that up there, I'm thinking, sexuality-wise, like, because I'm a certain sexuality, I can't love my partner in public because of bias or whatever. But talking to my man Vinith over here, it's also cultural. Like, you can't be with the person or be in public with this person because of religion or your culture, or your parents just saying no. So learning about that from him opened my mind, so it's not just cookie cutter. It can be anything as well.
I feel like with this activity, it taught me, or I know some people at my table, about like what can you do as an ally. Kaylin here, I'm only saying this because she said it's fine that I can say it. Yeah, I was like she put one of her candy out. If you feel comfortable calling the police when trouble occurs, for me personally, I feel comfortable like specifically in Woodbridge. But it just shows that we're from the same town. So it's like, what can I do? What type of reforms could I bring to my city council about ways to make our citizens feel comfortable when they're actually in need?
So for me, the ones that I really thought about were 6, where it's like if you learned about your cultural background in school, as well as if you've had a teacher that looks like you. So like my parents, coming from where they came from, like I grew up thinking that everybody knew about this country. And I remember when I would do projects in elementary school, my teachers would be like, no, you don't mean that, you mean Ghana. And I'm like, no, pretty sure I know where I'm from. And they'd be like, no, you mean Ghana. And then I'd have to explain to these people where I'm from. And I feel like that's also associated with not having a teacher that looks like you. Like it wasn't until I met personally Miss Cruz, who was Trinidadian, that I feel like I understood like I had a teacher that understood what it means to be West Indian, because all of my teachers, they never really got like that part of my culture and what it means to me. And I feel like this really opened my eyes to like just how unequal teaching can be, because it can make like a child feel really like left out and alone to like not have someone that looks like them doing something or like teaching them something so important. And I feel like this conversation really opened up to that.
Thank you for sharing that. You're Guyanese? Okay. I know this, right? Yes. And that's true. And so it is all of our educators' experience and, yep, I got you. I'm coming back to you. Responsibility, even if we don't look like folks, to know something about them, to learn how to teach folks who don't even look like us. It's super important.
I liked how Stephanie, correct? How she brought up that point, because something that we discussed here is that if you look around, like even this room, we're all different. We do not look the same. We come from different backgrounds, yet we're still all connected. And not learning this in elementary school in such a diverse district is something I think we should act on. Because if we're not represented and if we're not shown, even as a young age, it can greatly affect the outcome of your future. So I think that's something that we should also, not only discuss, but I feel like how AJ was mentioning before, we should act on these issues at hand. How can we really be an ally? How can we provide adequate support for people who are going through things such as substance abuse? How can we, improve our community as a whole for a better?
So in this group, we were talking about question 10. You can show affection for your romantic partner in public without fear, without ridicule or violence. I think that we were all sharing we were all expressing on how we felt, and so I told my group, you shouldn't think about what other people are saying. You should only think about if you love or if you like or love the person. And I was telling them how I grew up with a lot of men and boys in my life, with my brothers and my dad and my grandpa, and I always got told someone should treat you how your grandpa or your dad treats you. So I think us as a group, we were talking about how you should not be worried about how other people see you with a partner. You should just worry about if you love them or you don't and how they treat you.
Thank you. And sometimes that's easier said than done, right? Because it can be really hard to be out here in the street and expressing ourselves and with the people that we are with. So with that, I want to say thank you for this conversation, but I also want to make a really good, I see so many hands and it's making me sad because I can't call on everybody. But a good point is that like one way to continue this activism, is anyone here interested in being an educator, being a teacher? Yes, good. Because that means that the kids that you teach will have somebody that's teaching them that looks like them. And that's important. So what we do and what we choose to do with our lives and our professions and our careers is also super important because we have to like insert ourselves into spaces where we don't see ourselves that often. So we get to take up that space so that other people can have role models like us. Good job.
So first things first, wanted to name the circles, which we're already sitting in, we've already been doing the practice of. We're gonna move into it a little bit more officially now, are really rooted in indigenous cultures and collectivist cultures, so cultures where we really come together, where we rely on storytelling, we rely on community, and are really, again, a tool for storytelling and community building. There are a couple of components that you'll see that we've already kind of been using, but we're naming them explicitly. The first is chairs in a circle. So the fact that we're all in a circle means that there is no head of the table, means that we're all equidistant from each other and from the center, and we can all see each other very easily. There's a talking piece. Each table has a talking piece in the center of the table. It is, I'm pretty sure, a little round ball. Nicole is holding one up as an example. And we'll talk about the talking piece a little bit more in just a second. There's generally a centerpiece right now. It works. It's kind of the balloons are the things that are like centering us. It's somewhere for us to rest our gaze. It encourages conversation across the circle. There are opening and closing rituals, which we did at the beginning of the day. We'll do some at the end of the day as well. And then finally, there are going to be some question rounds that get passed around. So we can go to the next slide. Things to know about the talking piece and the circle rounds, which really are meant for us to engage in listening to really understand as opposed to respond to one another. So the first thing is that the talking piece can start anywhere, so anybody can start their response to a question, and from there it can go either to the left or to the right, but it must go around the entire circle, right? So it has to end back where it started. The person with the talking piece in their hand, it's basically a physical version of the 1 mic rule. So the person with the talking piece in their hand is invited to speak. Everyone else is invited to listen, because you will also have the opportunity to speak. So when you don't have the talking piece, you're really invited to engage in some of those active listening skills that we talked about at the beginning of the day. The third thing is once you are finished sharing, so if you have the talking piece in your hand, you say your thing. Once you finish sharing, you can say, I am complete, to indicate that you finish your thought and then pass it to the next person. The talking piece should never skip anyone, right? So we shouldn't toss it around the table. It should really just follow the circle order. Once it is in your hand though, you always have the right to pass. You don't have to answer any question that you don't feel comfortable answering. You always have the right to say, I'm gonna pass. We just wanna make sure that you hold it so that your presence is felt in the circle as well. Does anybody have any questions about how we're using the talking piece, how we're gonna be in circle for the next hour or so?
Okay, everybody feel comfortable about how we're gonna do our circles? Okay, great. Also want to say too, like the circle keeper might ask the prompt, and then whoever wants to pick it up, like Melissa said, it can start anywhere, so anyone who's ready can start. That person starts and it goes all the way back around to them. Okay, that's called a round. We're gonna go around one full time.
The other thing to know is the way that we're going to do this now is that you're going to be at your tables. You've been sitting with an adult at your table. Those adults are actually going to get up and leave. They're going to do their own circles. So the circles that are happening in here are going to be specifically for young people. So y'all can have the conversations that you need to have that you feel comfortable sharing with each other that maybe it wouldn't be as comfortable with the adults in the room, right? That doesn't mean that there won't be adults here. They just won't be necessarily sitting in your circle with you. So if you have questions at any point, if you have any issues, feel free to raise your care team paddle, raise a hand, and somebody will come support you. But know that the conversations that you're having at your table, the confidentiality agreement that we talked about at the beginning, your community agreements, all of which you can find in your packet, very much apply in these conversations that we're having.
Yes, And in your packets, there are community agreements, and I think even maybe 7 core assumptions, and things that you can look at just to ground yourselves before you start your circle. Any questions before we start?
So we're going to answer 2 debrief questions. The first one is going to be, does anyone want to share how this activity impacted them? How did you feel in your circles?
I felt very kind of like safe and kind of like we all have the same opinion, we agree, we kind of like, yeah.
Great job. I'm going to come over on this side.
I feel like doing this activity put me to understanding that people are going through many different things and they come from many different backgrounds, and you can't always go on based off what you see and how they act and just assume that they're going to be mean or they're going to be a type of way when you really don't know what they're going through or you really don't know how they're feeling inside. And they may just like act like maybe they're acting mean or they're acting upset or they're being rough to you because they have nobody to express that to.
Very good job.
Also, I feel as that a lot of us in this new generation and our mindsets are off topic a lot. We're also worried about social media and not worried about our real life or our goals of ahead of ourselves. I feel like in schools in this generation, they don't teach a lot about that, of what real world. They're so concerned about our grades and stuff like that, but I feel like we should be more concerned about what we want to do when we get older. Like she said over there, about we all have different backgrounds. We all came from a lot of different traumas and stuff like that, but I feel like that shouldn't just, I feel like traumas, I know they can affect your life really, really bad, but I feel like they shouldn't be allowed to, we shouldn't allow them to reflect our life for the rest of our life. Well, we shouldn't allow it to reflect the rest of our lives.
My name is Miracle, WHS, and I really enjoyed this activity because it facilitated a safe environment for us to say what we wanted and how we wanted, and for us to also connect and understand each other on a deeper level, and also connect because we didn't know we all have different traumas and different backgrounds, even though we all look different, but we still connected on a deep level.
I feel like the way that we all connect and we could talk about things and make new friends, like the fact that half of these people go to my school and I wouldn't think I would be sharing personal things to them and learning about new people and what they do and how they feel. I'm not alone. Even though she goes to JFK, he goes to Colonia, they experience the same thing I experienced from Woodbridge. So I just feel like this experience just helped everyone understand that they're not alone and everyone's just together.
Yeah, so basically, like she just said, I feel like this experience definitely brought, especially my table, this topic definitely, or this, what's it called?
question and activity definitely brought us all like closer than any other activity, because especially for question number 5, the one where it says, do you feel the policies in place at school targets specific populations? The way that we all kind of had the same thing to say and we all had a story really makes me feel like, wow, I can't believe like she feels the same way, she feels the same way. Especially like, I would just like to say one policy that we all agreed about was the dress code, specifically towards like girls. And the way that we all shared our stories with that kind of is really like empowering, and definitely is something that should be talked about in school, out of school, however we can make girls feel more comfortable about what they wear.
My name is Aaliyah, and I'm a senior at Woodbridge High School. I'm just glad that we were able to send out this information and message like across each other, and able to like learn more about like our ethnicity or diversity. And like one like topic they were able to speak on was like how we needed to learn more of life skill in school. Like we don't learn about taxes in school. We don't learn about how like we're supposed to get the financial like stability when we get into a college that we wanted to get to. Like, you know, she said that one of our friends was able to get in Brown, but she couldn't go because of like her family stability. Like, I just wish like we're able to like talk about more of this stuff in school, and I'm glad that like I was able to resonate with this experience.
So I'm Tyler, and I go to Woodbridge High School, and something that I felt that made this activity very important to me was, I guess all the previous activities made me feel a lot more connected with my group, and therefore this activity I was able to be a bit more like personal and vulnerable in it. And I think even when I shared things that no one else necessarily had experienced, because of all of our other connections and shared things, it just made it where they were like it's supposed to be. It was like an allyship thing. Like they were still there making comments, agreeing, even if they never had that experience personally. I think that was valuable too.
Hi, so our group for question number 4, everybody had a lot to say about it. Like everybody had a thing that the school should teach something else than only the studies or history. Like one of them said like history, we don't need to know so much about it, we just need to know like a summary about it. But we really need is like a general knowledge. Like for example, like my sister, she's really smart in the school, but out of school, street smart, she's not at all. And she doesn't know a lot of stuff, which is like a really big pressure on her shoulders right now, because we are immigrant parents. So what things that my parents can do, my sister have to do. And one of them is like taxes and other stuff that she doesn't even know, and she's barely keeping up with her studies because of that pressure. And I think school should really teach about this stuff that students doesn't have to go through that much, and that they can learn from here.
I think that when we went over the 4th question, it was about the school's curriculum. There were some people at our table that didn't even know that we had a African American Studies class, and that they felt that it should be added into our curriculum. I think that today was just like a good day, like to talk about it, and we were able actually to talk about it, and you learn information that you didn't know beforehand. So yeah.
So in my group, we talked about question 3 and question 4 a lot, because some teachers aren't as understanding than most, especially when some kids work or some kids like go through things at home. They don't understand, like they don't see it from our perspective as a student. And then question 4, we did talk about mostly like health, because we learn about the same thing over and over and over again. We learn about alcohol abuse, we learn about substance abuse, but we don't learn about like things we need to learn. Like within the LGBTQ, we need to learn about more like sex ed within like their group, instead of like just subjective to we need to learn about more like how they work and how gender works, and because some people are they don't understand and they're confused, and we need to learn about how Like, we need a function after high school, and we need more classes about that. And religion and ethnic groups, because it shouldn't be limited to just a club. We should have programs within our school and not just clubs.
All right. So at this time, we are going to give you a couple of minutes to kind of decompress because these are some serious topics while we transition to one of our final activities for the day. Okay, so you can remain at your table, decompress, doodle, talk, get your mind off of everything, and then we're going to transition to our next activity.
The tool that we're using for this activity is called the Social Change Ecosystem Map, and it should be in your packet, so if you want to follow along with us. But we're using this map to think about, we all have many different roles, many different ways that we can slot into movements, that we can slot into allyship, but we're thinking about what's our role right now, what feels most comfortable, and within that role, how do we take action? So there are 10 different roles, which you will see pasted around the gym on different pieces of paper. We're going to read each of them out loud with the description, and what we're going to do is ask you all, after you've had a chance to hear them, to reflect a little bit, to move towards the place where you feel like fits you right now. So what is your role right now? Right? And in those groups, we're going to have some conversations. So.
Right. We'll read through each of them. We have some volunteers to read, maybe, since everyone has these at their table.
Sure.
Would anyone like to volunteer to read Weavers?
Ooh, so many hands.
I see through lines of connectivity between people, places, organizations, ideas, and movements.
So weavers are going to be
That's a weaver. A weaver is a person that is connecting people. They're seeing through things and being able to put things where they go.
I innovate, pioneer, and invent. I take risks and course correct as needed.
Okay.
I address community crises by marshaling and organizing resources, networks, and messages.
I imagine and generate our boldest possibilities, hopes and dreams, and remind us of our direction. I develop, organize, and implement ideas, practices, people, and resources in service of a collective vision.
I nurture and nourish the people around me by creating sustaining a community of care, joy, and connection.
I take uncomfortable and risky actions to shake up the status quo, to raise awareness, and to build power.
I recognize and tend to the generational and current traumas caused by oppressive systems, institutions, policies, and practices.
I craft and share our community stories, cultures, experiences, histories, and possibilities through art, music, media, and movement.
Guides. I teach, counsel, and advise using my gifts of well-earned mistreatment, and wisdom.
So that's a lot. There's a lot of different types of people, as you can see. It's not just like, I'm an activist, I carry the sign. Or like, I'm a lawyer, and I'm a policymaker, and I'm just writing legislation. There are so many ways that we can plug into movements. There's so many ways that we can support and help each other to build a better, more equitable, safer, braver world, community, school, neighborhood, home, friend group, etc. This stuff you probably will notice. In your friend group, which one are you? Like just with your peers and the folks that you hang out with regularly, what do you feel like is your role? Okay, so you may be, so if you think that you are loyal and funny, which one of those roles do you think that connects to? You said maybe caregiver. Someone said that someone that creates joy and connection. So thinking about where you think you fall. So that's the next step is, who are you? So take a look at take a look at the lists and take a look at the words that go with the list and find out where you feel like you are and circle that one for yourself. Now, we identified who we are on that list and on that chart and found our place in the movement and our role, had some conversation with other folks who are like us, who feel similarly. Now our next step is we're going to, there should be a stack of yellow stickies on every table, and some markers and some pens for your own individual self, because now remember, everybody at your table is not necessarily the same role as you, but just from your role and the conversation you just had with that group, what is one action step that you want to take from here on out today in that role? Like as a weaver, thinking about being an ally, I want to do this. On a post-it note, write down your one action you are committed to taking after today's conversation. So one thing that you want to commit to doing, especially in that role that you just identified for yourself. Once you write down your thing on your yellow sticky, you're going to come up and put it on this action wall. So this wall will have all of our action commitments on it.
My name is Jace Rodriguez, 8th grader from Colonial Middle School. We just want to thank everyone for participating in today's event. My personal favorite activity today was meeting new kids from different schools. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Jenna, a senior here at Woodbridge High. I wanted to thank all of you for participating and joining us here today. I want you all to know that today wouldn't be possible without your participation. It is such a privilege and a blessing to be able to have these conversations with such a diverse group of people as are present today. So thank you again. I sincerely hope that all of you enjoyed your time here as much as I did, and I hope that you are all walking away with something new, and we hope you have learned something from this experience. I want to give a special thank you to our administration, Ms. Cruz, Mr. Ali, everyone involved, and especially Nicole and Melissa for helping us make this all possible. Thank you again for joining us, and have a wonderful day.